Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Well, today we've got a creator we've done 3 times in the past, episodes 86, 321 and 815. They started off a little bit weak with a 9-star map and just the 2 stars for gameplay, but they followed that up with a 13 and a 12-star. And today's map is going to be in that range as well, which you might think is extra surprising when you consider that this is actually one of the most loved YouTubers out there. Yes, if you're watching Let's Plays of Cities Skylines, you've probably watched this creator. They are exceptional, and today's map will fall into that exceptional category, which I think we all should approve of. That's right, approving of exceptionality really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Nomasburg by a Sanctum Gamer. Sanctum Gamer, superb creator, superb. Let's have a little look at that start square. I've got no complaints with that at all. Just enough water, plenty of flat build space, and we've even got rail in there as well. Terrain heights, it's flat across the middle where the river is, and some interesting looking hills as well. And then if we have a look at the resources, bold and strong, a little bit of field painting, but nothing that isn't usable, so that's all good. If you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing on this map, it looks just like this, and don't know what more to tell you. It looks just like that. Okay, off to the workshop. What do you need? It is a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. We've got 3 trees to go for: the live oak, the southern live oak, and the generic tree pack. We'll be using the Laviante 2.0 map theme, the Relight to average LUT, and recommendation is for dynamic resolutions and sun shafts, etc. But I do have the tree lod fix, but the other 2, for recording of this YouTube show, as I'm recording as live, we're not going to be doing any cinematic speeding up and slowing down the animations. I don't clog the system up too much, especially with dynamic resolutions. Yes, we could have sun shafts, and yes, it would make everything look prettier, but no, we haven't. So deal with it. Okay, so this map is exceptional. It does have a number of, a small number of minor grumbly things. Like we have a little bit of texture stress, I keep saying terrain stress, texture stress on the highway there, where there's a little elevation difference between the 2 highways. It is going to get a little bit worse further down, but it isn't hideous, and it isn't anything that would take more than a few moments to put right, especially if you use Move It. Right, going into a little embankment now, and again, very clean and tidy. Of course, it's all going to be clean and tidy work. This is Sanctum Gamer. They are a clean and tidy worker. Just like I say, a handful of minor grumbly things. I'm going to point them out and point. I'm not going to laugh. I'm just going to point and say, there, this is what you can do to be better with your own map making. This is the thing, showing you what somebody else is doing wrong will help to make your map better. And then when I show everybody what your map looks like, I'll find hopefully something wrong on your map as well, because they make for a better show, don't they? You don't want to see perfection all the time. Imagine if this road was completely straight with nothing wrong with it. Alright, you finished imagining? Well done. Okay, this bridge over here, the heights aren't quite perfectly aligned at the top, but it's not a big difference. Not a big difference at all. But it does continue over, and this is where we got the height stress on the central medium. It's just a little bit of a gradient issue, really. Just needs to be leveled out. It's not a big problem. I'm going to keep saying it's not a big problem, because there's really nothing in this map that is a big... Well, there's one grumbly problem. We do have underneath this bridge a tree that I don't think would survive under there, which is this oak tree under here, and it is just clipping through as well. A little bit of foliage on the top side of the bridge there. So yeah, we've got that. Again, nothing that the bulldozer won't fix or the Move It. If you want to keep the tree and want to move it somewhere else, you can. Of course you can. But I think basically the bulldozer is the one to use on that one. Trumpet intersection, very nice indeed. Built onto a curved road as well. And having that looking perfectly slick is advanced map making. Not saying the hardest thing you'll ever see in the entire world, but we've seen many people struggle to put intersections cleanly onto a straight road. Putting them cleanly onto a curved road, that's a different thing. Okay, going up the hill here. Personally, I think I probably have a little bit of a cutting at the top here, because we're just going over the top of a hill. It's a gentle hill, and it's just a preference. I think I would have gone cutting through that top bit to about here. But it's fine. It's fine. And now we're coming back down to what is the start square intersection. And we're going to have a small host of minor grumbles for the next minute or so, maybe. Looks great, though, doesn't it? Do you like? I like. So now, heading in towards the start square, start counting the minor and easily fixed grumbles. First of all, we have a missing pillar on this little crossover. Just the one. The other side's fine, but this side not so much. Now the down ramp, the one on the right, the down ramp here. If you have a look at the angle of the road there, it's just sloping off to meet in there. And again, shouldn't be too much of a big problem to fix that one, but it's again a little bit of a minor issue. A little bit of shark's teeth going on the edge here, which I don't mind sometimes if I can buy into them, but I don't really buy into it there. It just looks a little bit glitched and forgotten about, I'm afraid. Okay, big eyesore coming here, I'm afraid. I reloaded the map because I figured that this was a map load problem, but we have missing pillars here on the suspension bridge. So I reloaded the map and it was still missing, so I'm definitely convinced that there's a problem of some description here. The pillars that we do have in the middle, though, they are encroaching into the highway just a little bit, and we get the camera around right there, just a little bit there. Huge problem? Again, not really. Little tree there, it would survive there possibly, but it is clipping right the way through the highway and it probably needs to be moved to clean up. And I think that is it. And we've got one problem coming on later in the show, and one preference coming up later in the show, and lots of trees coming up later in the show. Thought I'd show you that tree, just get to know what a tree looked like. Anyway, into the start square, which means only one thing. That it's time for the asset of the day, and this one is by Luminou. It's the Center Videotron Quebec, Canada DLC Campus, which basically means that you need the Campus DLC for this asset, but if you've got Campus, wow, you've got to use it. You've got to subscribe, you've got to use it. It's amazing work. Okay, factoids because factoids. Bit of a long one today. On this date, the 22nd of June in 1633, after threats of torture to himself and his family, Galileo was eventually forced to admit the falsehood of his astronomical theories. Theories which now form the basis of our thinking. His tormentors were none other than the papacy, who regarded the idea that the Earth was not the centre of the universe as highly blasphemous. So, Galileo admitted his lies on this date, 1633, just after 4:30 apparently. I know it's an old joke, but I'm going to keep reeling it out. Anyway, Center Videotron Quebec, Canada DLC Campus by Luminou. That is an amazing asset. And so, back to the rail. Now, the rail, there is nothing wrong with it. The route is absolutely perfect. I cannot grumble. There is nothing to say. So, rather than just skip over it, I'm going to let you see it, and I'm going to talk about other stuff. Right. So, you know that we've got a 1000th show coming up relatively soon. I have mentioned and announced it in the past that I will be taking a 2 or 3 weeks, I'm thinking 3-week break from WhatsApp. But I am recording stuff to fill in the gap, so you may not even notice that I'm missing. There's going to be still probably 4 shows a week, and all of it relevant. But I've also been working on the idea for another new regular show. Possibly a weekly one. Haven't quite figured out the exact format yet, but I am putting it into action. It will involve you. Possibly actually you. individually, if you're listening going, what do you mean me? Yeah, you. If you're game, if you're up for a bit of fun, if you're up for a bit of live City Skylines, but not as you've seen it, then let me know in the comments. Better still, message me via Facebook. The links are in the description down below. Message me via there. You will need, obviously, City Skylines the game. You will also need to have Discord and an internet connection. Other than that, it's fine. It's all good. Should be a lot of fun. Won't be starting it for a few weeks yet, so don't panic. It won't be next week. Anyway, at the edge of the map, which means it's time for an intermission.
Do you watch BonBonB with your morning coffee? Do you want to feel closer to the show? Then you need either the modern or retro mug from BonBonB. Click the information button now.
I don't know about you, but Zack's voice in that voiceover is just like the most sultry, sexy American voice you'll ever get. Click the information button now. Okay, sorry. Shipping Routes by Nomasburg by Sanctum Gamer. Perfectly fine one there. This one, though, little bit of a grumble with it. If you place a harbour the opposite side of... the opposite side of this rail bridge, you're going to get shipping clipping. But it does dead end just there. So you can avoid shipping clipping by placing your harbour in a relatively good location. But there is a chance of shipping clipping. Right, water flow. Now, this doesn't actually have any live water spawns. It's all edge of map water flow, which means somewhere in the middle is going to be a null point. We're going downstream now. Oh, now we're going back upstream. So, somewhere between where we started and there will be a null point. Let's have a little look and see if we can't find it. Over here, there are arrows there. Arrows there. Up this way a little bit. Still a few arrows there. And it's a bit weak and going sideways, so it's about here probably, round about there. That's where your null point is, just off from the start square. Okay, so all told, it's a good looking map. The hills aren't really to my taste, but I can't fault them. I cannot fault them at all. They are exceptional. It's just not my sort of hill. The hills in the middle of the map are very playable. We've got a hell of a lot of trees, makes it look amazing. And the transition between the flatland and the hills is steady. It's fine. It's playable, and that's all good. The trees into the hills look great. Some on the ridge there, and then we've got a nice little blend up into the hills there as well. And you know, let's go and have a look. And some lakes, some lovely lakes. Can't grumble about the lakes either. Over here, we've got some good transitioning into the hills as well. Great looking hills. I'm going to keep saying great looking hills because they are great. Again, not that I would choose to use myself, but they look at the way the trees are working into them. They look great. I'm pointing out that because we're going to have a look in a moment about something that I think could be slightly improved. Just slightly. Just a midgy bit. Right, this little bank of trees there and there on the opposite side of the river, they're a bit bold, where we've got a bit of a gap on the end here. And what I would like to see is maybe just a bit of thinning there, a little bit of thinning there, and then the trees that have been saved, maybe moving them over onto the plateau up here. Just add a little bit of transition. But other than that, it looks amazing. I mean, seriously amazing. If you're looking for transition and fades, there's an idea of what I'm talking about here on the side of that hill there. Yeah, I just feel that it could be just a little bit more nuanced. See, there's a posh word for the day, isn't it? Nuanced. Looks great. Fields look great. Sort of like suggesting that we've got fields but these banks of trees. It looks great. It all looks great. It looks so great. But what do you think? Do you think it looks great? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Vote now, and in the top right hand corner of your screen, click the I button. It'll take you across to the voting page where you can log in with Facebook, Gmail, your YouTube account, or a free Patreon account. Right, okay, aesthetically, it looks really very nice indeed. Could it be better? I feel a little bit of a bleed and blending on the trees, possibly a little bit classier maybe, but it's still a very high 4-star map. Detailing. All told, I think the detailing is very good. I was going to say excellent, but there are quite a few little niggly things. So it doesn't get close to the 5th star, but it's still a very strong 4 stars for detail. Gameplay potential. I've thought about this, and I've thought about this, and I've thought about this. I'm trying to find a reason not to give it the 5th star, and I really can't. So I'm going to go 5 stars for gameplay. So Nomasburg by Sanctum Gamer. This obviously is going to be part of their next series. I'll link to their YouTube channel in the description down below if you haven't already subscribed to them. And I will definitely give them a BonBonB seal of approval. That is marvellous. Absolutely pinking marvellous. Thank you, Sanctum Gamer. Thank you. Just keep creating. Just keep being good, because you are good. Right, speaking about good, we've got to the end of the show, which is good. And if you are still here, it means you are part of the 20 and out elite. Now, use the word of the day in the comments and score yourself 100 population points, for which you will receive absolutely nothing apart from the praise of everybody else. Remember, don't talk about it in the comments because this is our big secret. See you tomorrow with another What Map.